The following presentation is a part of the National Heavy Boxing League's 10th season, celebrating 10 years of the premier level of heavy boxing in the Team Fortress 2 community, and a final send-off as the NHBL closes after its 10th season.
Welcome to the NHBL Finals Super Semis, Gentleman's Fedora, alongside Mindless Gonzo and Clayface. It's amazing how we are already at the Final Four when it seemed like Season 7 started just a little bit ago. A lot of the heavy boxers who were successful in the beginning of Season 7 have dissipated. Only 4 heavy boxers remain, and they're looking for their chance to compete for the ultimate title, the Sasha Heavyweight Championship. Dos Caras, not enough can be said about him with the Putis Pow movement. The amazing heavy boxing skills that he's had against Gelb Saiton and Freeman the Annihilator in the earlier rounds. Excuse me, his movements against Danger Boy instead of Gelb Saiton. Danger Boy losing 2-1, almost managed to get a win there, but Dos Caras' interesting move is that he's managed to drop one round in every match he's had so far in the NHBL Finals, whereas with Ice here, he's had the same status. He's dropped around in every match he's had, but Ice has had the tough competitions of Metro and Ratago to get to this point. But again, the Ice Storm is trying to keep a chill to the Putis Pow movement and get his chance into the Sasha Heavyweight Championship. On the other side of the bracket, Retro, the Natasha Heavyweight Champion of Europe, looking to be champion of the world for heavy boxing. He's managed to get past Sargent and El Comandante, who El Comandante was favored to potentially win this entire thing. And the Magic Marksman stands in his way. Magic Marksman looking for his revenge from the European Finals, as Magic Marksman has managed to win against Setup Lit and upset Viking 34, who was also favored to go a lot farther than the second round in the NHBL Finals. So a lot of unpredictability here in the playoffs, but we're ready for the epic action here. Gonzo, we'll talk first about this Dos Caras and Ice match. Both of these heavy boxers are well tenured in the NHBL. Dos Caras, fantastic. Ice, even more fantastic with his NHBL Fight Night runs. But what's interesting about it is that the Putis Pow movement has been around longer than Ice. Yet, with Ice's short time in the NHBL and just being with Fight Nights, he's gotten to the Final Four. What is it to say about this match that is going to leave it epic for this Super Semi?
Those puns you made at the beginning, I just want to address those. That made me die a little inside.
The punches?
The puns you made.
They weren't puns. I mean, the Putis Pow movement and the Ice Storm, that's literally what they are. I mean, I'll let you think what you want about the puns, but anyway, what is it about these matches that you're looking forward to most?
Well, here's hoping that neither one of these get a little cocky, make a slip and everything, because the Buddhist Power movement is already looking promising. But then again, when you have someone with beginner's luck like Ice, I'm just hoping that neither one of these just slip. I want these people in the best form.
Yeah, you said it best. I mean, both Dos Caras and Ice have had great form going so far, but it may come down to the final round for that match here. And Clayface, what's even more interesting about that match between Caras and Ice is, again, Ice is a Canadian against an American, so there's a little bit good of a ping advantage between the two. But again, the Dos Caras Putis Pow movement, is it unstoppable?
This match just shows how two guys who have the huge fan bases behind them and generally have a grudge match between each other. These guys don't like each other. Dos Caras has stated it many times. Ice has stated it many times. There was a lot of heat. As if you didn't see the divisionals, there was some heat between them after their matches. They were not happy to be seeing each other, but here they are in the Super Semis. Look, you have to look at this match in a few different ways. Is Dos Caras has a tad more experience, but Ice looks like the fresher guy, though, truly.
Yeah, both of them. You're right about the whole freshness of them. But let's look at the other match of the Super Semis, because we're going to see Dos Caras and Ice first. That's going to be fantastic. But let's look at Retro and the Magic Marksman. You created the NHBL European Finals, and it produced Retro as the European champion. Now, who would have thought he would be on the verge of making it into the Sasha Heavyweight Championship and potentially winning both the Natasha and Sasha Heavyweight Championships? I'm sure you could have figured that, but he's against the Magic Marksman in a rematch of the European Finals. What's it going to take for Magic Marksman to get the revenge he's seeking?
You know, both these guys have shocked the world by making it to the Super Semis. They had a very tough time getting here because many people doubted Retro's ping, but on the other hand, everyone doubted excuse me. Everyone doubted Magic Marksman's his computer stability because he was suffering from lag and problems that forced him to be not as top as he used to be, but he seems to have got that out the way now. He looks good, but if Marksman wants to win this match, he's going to have to play it slow, man, because Retro likes to just wait for the first punch. He's going to have to be patient and hopefully test Retro to see if Retro will push in first.
Yeah, Retro, he does have a kind of tendency to push in first in his strategies there. And speaking of Retro, Gonzo, he faced off against Sargent and El Comandante, who are some fairly high tier boxers in the NHBL, and he dropped around to each of them. But he's going against the Magic Marksman. He's going against a good competitor. And what's it going to take for the champion of Europe to get a step closer to becoming the champion of the world?
Well, if we ended up moving our server to Europe, that might be a start, or him moving to the United States. Because when you're dealing with distance, you're all going to have to compensate for the ping. But with everybody close to this server and him being so far away, I think you know where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah, ping advantage. Now, we've seen it plenty of times before. It's not always 100% impactful of how the action in the ring goes, but it certainly makes a huge difference. Warm-up rounds here for the first of the NHBL Finals Super Semis. And Clayface, we look again at the awesomeness of Retro and European champion. Looks like they're just taunting a little bit in the ring, even though they should be going through their warm-up rounds.
This match is Dos Carlos and I.
You're right, Dos Caras and Ice. Somebody on my end didn't remember the correct match. Oh, great, one of the off days again.
Yeah.
Yep. Time to impersonate Baxter here. I don't like this. I need to remember this stuff. I hate my job. But anyways, so Clayface, we look at the epicness of Ice and how he's managed to rise up from Fight Nights, and he managed to beat Egyptian Bagel. They made a rule for Egyptian Bagel that you can't participate in back-to-back NHBL Fight Nights tournaments because he won 5 in a freaking row, and then he went on to win the Xeno Gamers Battle Royale. Egyptian Bagel isn't in this tournament. He had to drop out due to a work conflict.
Very sadly.
Yes, very sadly.
A huge favorite to win the whole thing, actually, Bagel.
Yeah, he favored to win the entire tournament, and then Ice beats him in Fight Night, and now he's favored to win the whole thing, and he's in the Final Four.
Well, I mean, so sorry to interrupt you. If you're, I gotta say though, the Fight Nights are a good place to kind of test your ground and kind of know where you stand in the NHBL. But for someone to come out of the Fight Nights and be so successful, it's a major step. It's a big move. So can he handle the pressure of competing in the NHBL Finals? So far, so good. But now he's in the Super Semis. There's a hell of a lot of pressure on him here.
And Gonzo, you look at those Caras, the pressure is on him as well because the Pudis Pow movement has been so successful going into the NHBL Finals that now he's on the verge of making his first Sasha Heavyweight Championship appearance. So how is that pressure going to take a huge factor on him?
It's going to be even a lot more pressure because I'm watching the practice matches, and Ice has killed him 3 times in a row. Ice seems to be at top form, and I think it's going to need to put a little steam back in that little movement of those Caras.
And the Super Semis are underway. The Final 4 will be narrowed down to the Final 2 after 2 matches. But first we have Ice versus Dos Caras. No first punch landed by either heavy boxer as they circle around the center of the ring. Swung in and punched by
Sweet
Ice, who's in
jab.
blue. Dos Caras in red. Caras trying to deal his punches back, and he's getting some stuff in there. It's down to one punch per heavy boxer as they get it in there. Make it one more, and Ice will take the first
Bang.
round. Just an interesting strategy by both of those heavy boxers there, Clayface. They were very conservative with their punches.
Yeah, Ice is determined. You can see that he wants to be the first ever Canadian to win such a heavyweight championship. He's determined. He's focused. You can see how slick he was, especially his movement on point, perfect jabs.
Since Clayface made the reference in his last commentary, you like jazz? Second round is in here for the heavy boxers. They get their punches in. It was a first punch by
How
Dos
is that
Caras
my
circling
line?
around the middle of the ring. Swing their
That is
punches in.
Cobalt. What are you on about? What are you on?
And Ice will take the second round. Oh, he's trying to pull another Pooties Pow thing to one up Dos Caras there. It's a 2-0 lead here, Gonzo. Why is Dos Caras down this early?
Maybe he's getting a little bit cocky, or maybe he has no idea what the hell he's facing. He better start making it up, otherwise he's not going to last the next few rounds.
2-0 lead for Ice over Dos Caras. Caras trying to be a little bit more conservative in his corner, gets a little bit back out, missed punch swing, and Ice gets it back in. Double punch led by both. Another punch led in there by Ice. Just getting the advantage here. Swing and a miss for Dos Caras again. Manages to get one in there. Caras leading it back, keeping it even, trying to get another punch in here. Gets one down to the final punch for Ice and Dos Caras trying to get another one in, circling around the center of the ring, and it's Ice who take it. Takes the 3-0 lead. He's on the verge of making it into the Sasha Heavyweight Championship. Dos Caras has a huge hill to climb here, Clayface.
Oh, this is a landslide so far. He is 3-0 down, and he's going to have to really focus hard now, man. He cannot make one mistake, otherwise it's going to cost him big time. Sadly.
Match point for Ice, and there is a penalty issued by the referee as both heavy boxers are still going at each other, of course. But we'll see how this round goes regardless, as both of them circling around. Dos Caras trying to get his punch in, even first punch dealt by both. Make that 2 even punches for each. Make that 3 down to the last 2 for each heavy boxer. Got in by Dos Caras. Landed a punch in there, and Dos Caras finally gets the Pooties Pow out, but we'll hear the penalty announcement first.
Penalty false start on Dos Caras. Saw the models move before the bell ring.
Here we go. Round 4 kicked back off after the reset. It's a 3-0 advantage for Ice as Dos Caras gets an even first punch in there. Dealt back for 2 even first punches. Make it 3 as Ice is trying to get an advantage here. Punches miss. There's Dos Caras again down to the final punch for each of them. It's Dos Caras gets the win in round 4. No penalty on that one. It's a 3-1 lead for Ice. Still a huge kill for him to climb here, Clayface.
Oh, yeah. He needs to win 3 straight to proceed, and that would be one of the biggest comebacks we have ever seen. But he is very good, so he is, a talented boxer. So hell, anyone can do it.
3-1 for Ice, still match point. Ice quickly aggressive towards the center of the ring. Dos Caras trying to keep his composure and focus. 2 even punches per heavy boxer. Swing and a miss in the air by Dos Caras, trying to get even in. Gets another punch dealt in. I believe it was dealt back there by Ice. Another punch dealt in. Dos Caras trying to get himself in for a punch, and it's Ice! He's going to the Sasha Heavyweight Championship!
Oh.
Clayface is going to head down for an interview with the victor, Ice, but Gonzo, the Pooties Pow movement, unfortunately, has been stopped in the super semis. How is it that Dos Caras, or how is it that Ice managed to stay so dominant and punch his way to the championship?
Maybe he just kept constantly calm. I mean, despite the little screw up, Dos Caras did pretty much put up a good fight, at least for 2 times. We're counting the wrong false start, but yikes! I guess he pretty much just remained confident and just kept punching it.
Well, thank you very much for that exciting fight between Dos Carlos and Ice. But I am joined here with the winner, 4-1, defeating Dos Carlos, the one and only Canadian's own Ice. Now, Ice, how does it feel to be Canada's? You are the first ever Canadian boxer to reach the Stars Heavyweight Championship.
It feels really good because he's been taunting me and calling me a fetus ever since the Battle Royale, and I've wanted my revenge. Oh, what's that I hear?
Yeah.
Rasputis!
Now, let me ask you this as well. Who do you think will give you the biggest test in the SAC, or who do you think is going to win that match between Marksman and Retro?
No idea. I've really never studied either of them boxing, so I don't know whose strategy would favor the other.
Now, you're going in there. It's your first ever NHBL Finals, and you've made your first ever Slash Heavyweight Championship. What are the nerves? Are you nervous?
Yeah, I'm usually nervous when it comes to this stuff, but I figured out a way. Listen to music between rounds. It actually calms me down. It works.
Well, I mean, you heard it there. He listens to music between rounds. It's kind of different to me when I used to compete in Sydney in the Australian boxing. I used to chew gum, so kind of keep myself under control, as you all know. But hey, I think that this was a great performance. You look really fresh out there. What was the tactic?
I used the same thing I used against Ritago. I did something completely different in the warm-up than how I play.
All right, the match between the Magic Marksman and Retro. Commence your warm-up rounds.
Go, go, go! Good! Take that! Take and that! This! Go, 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 go! Take that! Go!
Gotcha!
Go! Very well! Which one of you? Medic! And this!
1-0 Marksman.
We are take that! Take that! And this!
Tied at 1.
Shot!
Two 2-1 Retro.
Yes! Good time! On! Take that!
3-1 Retro.
Good shot!
4-1 Retro wins.